Hey, good evening, modeling friends around the world and around the country. Welcome to our Monday edition of the Stunthangar Control Line Forums Hangouts. I'm Rusty, and I'll be your host until about midnight tonight. Probably can't go too late tonight. Don't want to oversleep tomorrow morning. Got things to do, so we'll try to cram all the best conversation in between now and midnight. And as usual, the links are open and available in the stunthanger.com control line forums thread called live streams at the bench. And you can get into the video from the top link in there. And if you click on the YouTube window, you can get into the YouTube chat box, where the YouTube watch page where the chat box resides, and communicate with us via text. And if you don't want to use your camera and microphone, you're welcome to do that too. And so we'll hang out here. I got a good show and tell tonight. I know I had told y'all recently that the guys on Cox Engines forums had gotten together and ordered me a CNC kit for a replica Cox Hyper Viper. It's a half A for a Norvell 061 or a Cox TD049. It looks like the plastic model, but it's far superior to it. And it's a really nice kit. This one's kind of like an ARF. I think there's several options you can get when you order them. And the one they sent me was almost completely built. It needs assembling and painting and finishing just like an ARF would. The wing is already completely built. And so it looks like a pretty quick build for me. And I've got Norvell 061 or AME out in the shop that I intend to mount in it. And I'll probably put it on a bladder instead of a hard tank because that's the way I do most of my half A's. To me, it's a lot easier to deal with and a whole hell of a lot easier to needle and get started. So I'm looking at this model, and I think it's very likely going to outfly my baby flight streaks, which to me have always been the top tier half A profile planes. This is not a profile. This is a full body. It's kind of like a hollow log that's been cut to shape with a CNC machine. So I'll be showing that later on, and hopefully some other people will come. Show and tell is the best part of this show. We have people, that play with different types of things that are in the control line field that all of us haven't ever seen before, like pulse jets and combat. And there's so much to learn about every different discipline. I'm pretty much a stunt only guy, and I like to play with toy combat planes like my half A Little Satan, but I've never flown competitive combat, but I love the planes. And I like it when combat guys and engine guys, which go together because combat's all about performance. I like it when they come in here and show us what they got and talk about the flying strategy and rules. And hey, Jack Snavely, let's see, Jack says, hi there, good to see you again. Being a fun flyer, I learn a lot from you and your guests. I learn a lot from our guests too, and I learn a lot from you YouTube guys. So, like I've been saying, there's more of you guys out there on the tube than there are of us in here, and so that's a good knowledge base. Trying to encourage my video buddies to pay attention to what y'all type over there so that I don't have to do it all the time, because I get distracted trying to read you guys in the YouTube chat box and miss parts of the conversation that's going on right in front of me in the video side. So if they can help do that, and they're getting pretty good about it, and if they can help do that, then I can stay on topic in the conversations a little bit better rather than going, what were we talking about? And so anyway, yeah, I enjoy doing this. Also, I would like to ask you if you could, while you're in the chat box, please click on that block $sign at the bottom. That's what I call the super chat. That's actually, it's what YouTube calls the super chat. And you can send a donation, however large or small, no matter. And that, as I always say, helps Sparky keep the server fees up, keep the equipment going. He's bought some new camera equipment to make videos of the contests this summer, like the Nats, and do video interviews with people. Some of our experts, you know, he'll get them to tell us about what it's like, and I get a little cut of that too. So it helps my hobby budget, and I appreciate it. So don't forget to click the super chat once in a while, and if you don't want to, that's fine. And if you can't, I sure as hell understand that. So, you know, everybody's welcome whether you do or not. But anyway, we're just here to have fun, talk about modeling, whether it's cars, trains, planes, or automobiles, whether it's models or even full size. Hell, we'll talk about hunting and fishing if you want to. I like talking about hot rods and drag racing, something I used to do a long time ago. Anything that takes tools to play with is welcome here. And of course, we stay away from politics and too much philosophizing or proselytizing going on, and keep it family friendly. And so it's all about fun, just like the hobby. So looks like we got 6 viewers on YouTube, including Jack right now. I don't know if that includes me or not. 7 viewers. It's slowly climbing, and we've been getting good crowds. I looked over and checked it. I think one night we had about 20, 21, 22 viewers, and that's probably as many as I've seen at one time. And I don't know, you know, how many, if you could count them, because it doesn't tell me who they are. So I can't tell if it's same people coming and going, or if we, you know, get new people. And once in a while, somebody pops in and types a message to us in the chat box, and I realize it's somebody that I didn't know of, that's been watching for a long time. And I always like it when people come up to me out in public, and well, not like I'm walking around Columbia and people come up to me, but when I go to contests and that sort of thing, it's nice to have people come up and tell me they watched the show and enjoy it. And Gerald Wimmer just dropped in from New Zealand. Hey, Gerald, glad to have you tonight. I hope you're getting some flying time in. Last time we talked, I believe you were getting a bunch of planes fixed up because the boys were pounding them in fast as you could put them back together. I hope you're keeping them in the air over there, and getting Elena interested in flying. You gotta convince her to fly in the wind some. It can be fun, but I know in the summertime you said it was really windy in New Zealand. So if you learn to work with it, if it's not swirling, if you got a straight, steady, stiff wind, it can be your friend if you use it. And let's see. Oh, David Phelps. Hey, David, how you doing? Going to see you in Huntersville in a couple of months, I think. Hardly even a couple of months. Let's see. We got 3 weeks of February, March. We got 4, so that's 7, April. So that's 11. We still got 11 weeks to go before Huntersville, but it's close enough where I can count it in my head, so that's a good sign. And Gary Sinclair, here he is. How you doing tonight, Gary? And glad to have you back. He says it's good to be back tonight. We agree. Good to have you back here tonight. We got 10 viewers on YouTube, so they're piling up. And I need some viewers in here in the live video side before I run out of interesting stuff to talk about. When we get a good cloud, I'll do my show and tell and show you my new Hyper Viper. And I was talking about that before all of y'all showed up on YouTube, so I'll wait. But it's that replica of a Cox model. And hey, oh, here comes oh, that looks like Gerald, I think. Yeah, and let me let you in, Gerald. Hey, old buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you keeping?
Everything's good here in South Carolina. We're just weathering the winter, and I think we're supposed to have our first week of 70+ degree weather this coming week. So looking pretty good. Maybe I can get out to the shop some. How is my audio and video? I'm getting a message up at the top of the screen that I've never seen before that says rate the video and audio quality.
I haven't got that, but
Are you getting me loud and clear?
Loud and clear. You're coming across quite well tonight.
No feedback chatter or anything like that?
It's all good right now.
Good. Yeah, we've been getting feedback chatter, and it seems to accompany some people when they join and then go away. But then there's always a little background chatter, and it's almost, I'm guessing we're getting crosstalk from other Hangouts that are going on simultaneously, because it doesn't always sound like us, and it's unintelligible, but it's just a strange chatter that goes on, and I'm thinking it's just glitchy YouTube or something. I don't know. But anyway, so are you keeping the boys in the air? Or are they still crashing as fast as you can build them?
Oh, Otto crashed on the weekend, a combat wing, but again, we had a really windy weekend, and I dragged out stunt models, but we just flew combat models because we didn't want to ruin our stunt models, because we've got a contest next Saturday. So I thought we'll just practice on some combat models. And of course, Alina put in a brilliant flight. She was flying really well, and young Max was flying really well too, but it was me that kept crashing the same model they were flying. And I just thought, there's something wrong with the model. Must be something wrong with the model.
Yeah, all of them can fly it, but when you put it in the expert hands, it won't stay in the air, huh?
Oh, it was scary to think. Yeah, I know my ability to fly isn't as good as it used to be when I was younger, and maybe too many knocks to the head on motorbikes. But Alina she said the other day, you used to do a really good pattern when you were young, and I was just thinking, yeah, it's not so great now. Everything's too high and not. I don't know.
Everybody has spells like that. You know, I go through horrible spells, and I go through spells when I am flying pretty good, so I can't explain it either. But so I pretty much crash everything I build, so I try not to get too upset about it.
No, that's the main thing, just to carry on. You do it for enjoyment.
Yeah.
And even if I crash every now and again, which seems to happen fairly frequently, really, it doesn't really bother me. It's all part of the fun. As long as I don't crash a precious model, it doesn't feel too bad at all when you're just crashing a combat wing.
Yeah.
But when you lose your main stunter, it really knocks you back, because you've got to start.
That hurts. And my problem is I usually don't have anything but my main stunter, and I have to go out and practice with that. And like me breaking the wing on the twister a couple of years ago and that sort of thing. But well, I hadn't broken anything since 2017, fall of 2017. But I hadn't flown anything since then either. So
hopefully if the weather, like you said, if the temperature starts to rise, you can get out to the workshop and have a few more models and have some backups ready for when you get back into it.
I've been thinking I'm going to start back by just toying with half A, and I've got a new half A model, the little CNC Cox replica of the Cox Hyper Viper came in the mail today, and and it's going to have a Norvell 061 on it, which is what it's built for, that or a TD. And so I've got my baby flight streaks and my little Satan, and that fleet is fine. It's my stunt fleet that's suffering a little bit. So I'm going to get my reflexes tuned back up with half A, I think, and I can just walk across the street and do that too. So that's an advantage, and I'm feeling really well lately. The only thing that's bothering me now is I've got too active. When my hip started feeling so good, that I've given my other legs and knee tendonitis from doing too much walking around at Walmart and Lowe's and that sort of thing. So I kind of got to let that heal up a little bit, but that's all it is. It's just a little tendonitis, but Once that clears up, I can't even tell anything was ever wrong with my left hip now. That's the one that they put the new hardware in. So we're good to go. It's looking good.
Oh, that's sounding like, yeah, very promising. Like you'll have a good summer when it comes along.
Yeah, I think so. And last summer, I talked up a big, winter, I talked up a big story about how I was going to be back, but it just never materialized. But this is a whole different deal now. So I think we're good to go pretty soon here.
Oh, we'll just take it easy and don't overexert yourself. And
yeah,
it's like this friend of mine that's been flying out of the chair, and he's managed to lose a lot of weight, and that's helped him. But being able to fly out of a chair, he was flying. At first up, I got him on behind a big 60 model of mine. I said, I don't know how to pull the chair around, and that worked well. So he went down to a smaller and smaller, and now he was flying a 25 model last weekend. And that's helped him because it's given him the confidence, even if he doesn't have the mobility to get up off the chair and run back if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
He can always fly, and he feels better about that, and it's helped him. I think that's part of the reason why he's lost weight and been in better shape, because he's had that hope that I can actually do more, and the chair's just encouraging him to build more and fly more.
And just going out on a control line expedition with your friends is a hell of a lot of good exercise, because you walk the planes out, you walk the lines out. You must walk 2 or 3 miles before the day's over. Oh, here we got somebody I'm missing. It looks like 18 Stingray. That's my buddy Chris. Let me let him in here. Hey, Chris.
Right.
How you doing, man? Can you hear me? Oh, your mic's muted now. Can you let me try to unmute your mic from this end, Chris? Oh, you got it. Okay.
Can you hear me now, Russ?
Now I can hear you. Yeah. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
I'm all right. Now your video's gone.
There. How's that?
Now we got it.
Yeah.
Audio and video. A-okay. All right. So we got Chris in here. Do you know Gerald? I don't know if you've met Gerald or not. You've probably seen him.
I've seen him on here many times, but I've never talked to him.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Chris.
Good to meet you too.
Let's see. Chris is from Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
All right. Well, right now, looking at the weather report, I'm sure glad I'm in the South. Y'all have had a pretty icy winter up there, hadn't you?
Yeah, it sucks so far.
Have you gotten any flying time at all in?
No, I haven't flown since like October.
Yeah. But you were looking pretty damn good last year. You were winning intermediate contests, weren't you?
Yeah, I moved up to advanced.
Did you?
After Brodax.
How did you how have you done in advance so far? Are you holding your own, or are they kicking your ass, or how's it going?
I won one profile advance in Philadelphia, but the other ones I seem to be getting my ass kicked.
Yeah. Well, good. That gets your confidence up, and when you can get that confidence up, knowing you can do it, you fly better. And so you came along really quick. I think you're deserving of one of those most improved trophies that they give away at some contest, because I remember when you first started on the forums anyway, and you've come a long way since then. When you first started, you were flying pretty round loops and pretty intersections on your figure eights and all. So, I wasn't surprised when you started winning.
Yeah, I flew a little bit in the 90s and then I quit, but I never did fly the AMA pattern until a couple years ago.
Really?
2 years ago, I guess.
How did you end up getting back into it? Was it the forums? Did you find the forums and then get interested, or how did it work?
I was out of work on a shoulder surgery, and I just happened to be in Carmichael area, so I stopped at the hobby shop, Brodax, and bought a half-A jumping beam and got back into it that way.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one of those times when you know, things you think are bad luck actually turn into good luck in some ways.
Right.
So you can't, sometimes when luck happens, you can't quite accurately disseminate whether it's good luck or bad luck until you're down the road a little ways and see what it ended up taking you to do.
Right. It's
Yeah,
been a fun
sometimes
journey so far.
yeah, those accidents sometimes hold you to the building board, and you can't go running around doing everything you normally do, and you've got to spend some time inside, and the building board's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Put together a kit or repair some old models.
Well, how's Beth doing? Is she got any fun hobbies, or does she still go to the contests and out with you to flying and all?
At the contest. She likes hanging out with the guys. Yeah. I see you still haven't fixed that trophy behind you, Rusty.
Oh, yeah. Well, it pulled up into a loop. I guess it's been a couple of weeks ago now. Mike Linsky laughed. I asked him, what, Mike? And he said, that plane behind you just took a tail dive, and looked back and thought, well, looks like it's pulling up into a loop. I think I'll just leave it that way. I kind of like it. I ought to arrange them. I got about a couple more of those out in the shop. I ought to put them in a circle up there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Or arrange them like they're in a dogfight or something. One of them's a cardinal. That's the one that's pointed up. That's the cardinal. And I can't remember what the other two are. It says on the back side of them what models they are. But that's the old Huntersville trophies.
You could arrange them in a square, doing square loops.
Yeah.
There's an old Fox 59 stunt box. It had models going around doing square loops, going around the box, a pattern around the box. That looked really neat. The old orange box. It was very distinctive back in the day when the Fox 59 was a well-regarded stunt engine.
So have you got anything new on the table, Gerald, or are you just pretty much doing maintenance work to keep your fleet operable?
I started working on building a what do you call it? A Thunderbird, a Brodak kit. I was putting that together, but I realised I wasn't going to have it ready in time for our nationals. And recently, we didn't have enough room in the car to take every model I wanted to the nationals, but because we had to take all our luggage as well. So I got together an old model and revamped it. Oh, this one here. It's a simple profile. It's about 600 square inch. They call it. It's got an ugly profile, really, but they work well. They've got a hollow fuselage. It's like a 3/4 inch fuselage.
Yeah.
And the L46. It was flying really well last time, I have to say. It was turning nice and tight. It was flying nice and steady. It was doing really well. The only problem I had was just my tank. I made my tank sit outboard by an eighth. I packed it out. I put a little bit of packing there because I wasn't getting a clean cut. It was running on for about 10 laps, dying slowly.
So you got to kind of counteract the yaw of the plane with a little shim behind it.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll do the trick. It's only a 4-ounce tank. It may be a little bit small, but if it's too small, then I've got another 4.5-ounce tank. I can give that one a try, make up some scraps. So if I fly,
what's the shape of that tank that's on the plane? Has it got a name? I've seen the ones that are kind of pinched along the outside edge, but I don't know what you call them.
Oh, I know it's a Vico profile tank. It's the classic Vico tank, and it's what we put on our ringmasters. I bought 3 of them from Brodak, and then I had another one. The one I got from Brodak, the biggest I could fit in was a 3.5 ounce.
Yeah.
So we put that on our ringmasters, and then I've got a 4-ounce one here, which is just a little bit longer. I think you can get them up to about 5 ounce in that shape, and they come as standard vents, top and bottom, flow.
And the pickup tube where does the pickup tube open inside? Is it inside of that pinch, or is it down
I
below
presume
it?
pinch. I presume it's inside the pinch. They seem to work well on our Ringmaster. Had no complaints. They work really well. But on this model, I think it just needed that little bit of offsetting of the tank.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work properly, I'm going to cut the back open and find out where the pickup tube is, if it's moved. Sometimes I've had that. I had that recently with on that same model. The pickup tube had actually, it was soldered to the wall of the tank and it pulled away.
Yeah, and then sometimes it'll ring like a tuning fork like that too when it detaches.
Yeah, I think it had actually split and it had moved away from the wall and it was running terrible. So I pulled that tank apart and repaired it, and it was too small for the model. But the other one here is just a plain Uniflow. It's just got the overflow at the front going to the top of the tank, and then the two going to the back corner, about 1/4 inch apart. I think that's one my brother made for me. But yeah, I'm not great at making tanks. I prefer to grow them from Brodax, but invariably you end up having to make a tank every now and again because nothing fits.
I might buy one of the tank kits from Brodax sometime and see if I just that way everything will be cut out exactly right, and I won't have to go through that part of the learning process yet, and I can just learn to do a good job of soldering, because I'm an expert solderer with electronic equipment, but not so much with sheet metal and stuff like that. But I think I've got the right equipment to do it. I've got to get
is a really big iron, something that's got a lot of heat dissipation.
I do. I have a Weller dual heat gun. I don't have a pencil iron that's over 25 watts, but my dual heat gun, I think it's 150 and maybe 275 or something like that. I hear Mike Blanke is coming in. Let me let him in. There he is.
Hi, Mike.
Hi. Not much. We're just talking about airplanes. We got Chris in. You might remember him from Huntersville a couple of years ago.
I remember him going head to head against him at Brodax.
Okay. Yeah.
What's going on, Chris? Yeah, one of us won profile and one of us won Pampa. I forget how it went.
You won the profile. I won the Pampa.
That's right. Yeah. So you moving up to advanced, Chris?
I already did.
Yeah.
I did right after Brodax.
I did after the Nats. I went to the Nats and won intermediate at the Nats and moved up. Have you flown any contest?
Yeah, I flew to a couple, Hazleton and Philadelphia.
How'd you do?
I won a first in profile Philly, but I think in Pampa I ended up around 5th or 6th.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good just to have 5 or 6 people in the contest. That's one thing about advanced. I think you usually get a bigger field than you do with intermediate.
Oh yeah, they get 12 or 15 at Huntersville at least.
Yeah.
Be challenging.
Yeah. So look what I found in my yard today.
Uh,
Went out to get the mail and it was laying in my driveway.
Somebody's been spying on you, eh?
Have you gotten it to power up?
No, the battery was dead on it, but it had an SD card in it. I'm going to pull it out and see what the guy was filming. Maybe it'll have his face on it and where it came from. We've got a Facebook page for our subdivision here for the homeowners association. I've already posted that anybody lose a drone, I got it. So, but I've asked all the neighbors. It's not any of the neighbors that live close anyway.
Did it have a camera on it?
Yeah, there's camera in it. Yeah, it's built in. This is like a $70 drone. I looked it up. That was the first thing I looked up the name. They're like $69. So
I guess most all of them come with cameras built in. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is a toy grade one. It's not, super
right
or anything like that. but I'm sure somebody's looking for it. You know.
Yeah, that's quite amusing.
Yeah. Well, it was.
I was watching a YouTube video the other night. You know, Amazon, and we've heard about them talking about going to drone delivery systems and all, but I was watching Amazon the other night, and there's a medical company that does emergency deliveries in Rwanda, and they said that drones didn't have the power to do the job because they did so much, you know, power to lift. And so what they do is they take a plane. It's a pretty big plane. It's got a big box on it, and they slingshot that sucker off the end of a launcher, and I think it flies about 100 miles an hour, and they fly it out and parachute the supplies in, and fly it back, and they've got a catching device. They catch it in the air when it comes back to the lab, and they send, I don't remember how many every day, but it was a constant flow of traffic that they had coming and going with those medical drones, or not drones, but medical delivery planes. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it sounds quite an innovation. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember what it was called. I might be able to find it in my YouTube history, but it was Rwanda, and it was airborne medical deliveries or something like that. And yeah, so if you want to look it up and try to watch it, I'll go back and see if I can find the link sometime too. And I've got a good show and tell for later tonight when more people come in. I got my wooden balsa hyper viper in the mail today.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's a nice piece of it's a nice piece of work, and it's like mine's like an ARF. I mean, it's almost all built. The wings completely built. Here comes Doug. Let me click him in. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Rusty. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Doug.
How's your girl doing? Is she out of the hospital?
No, she's still in. They're working on her. They'll get her fixed up, and she's got some flu or something too, so it's not going well.
No, that's hospitals for you. If they can keep it from going to pneumonia, you know, but I wish her the best. And is she in good spirits?
Yeah, well, for the most part, she's just a little kind of delirious, you know, just from being black in the hospital. Ah, I saw that lamp. That's awesome. With the leg. Lamp? The Christmas story lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
What's your shirt say, Doug?
Drop drones.
I was just showing you.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah, the major award lamp.
Yeah, fragile.
Morning, Doug.
You put that together? What?
No, this was laying in my driveway when I went out to get the mail this morning.
See, there you go.
Somebody in the subdivision has lost a drone.
It's yours now, isn't it?
No, I put on our Facebook page, anybody missing a drone, I'll try to get it back to the owner. I'm going to plug the SD card in and see if I can see what kind of video they had on it, though, before I give it back to them.
Ask them what the reward is.
Yeah, well, it's like a $70 drone. It's not anything crazy expensive.
Yeah, but see, there you go. They weren't in the right place, doing the right thing. Yeah, if you can access the card on it, maybe there's something in there.
Yeah, maybe it's got a shot of his face or something, you know, or whoever it was. But it's a toy grade zone. It's not a drone. It's not, you know, it's not hobby grade at all.
Yeah. So, being in the middle of the winter, it probably doesn't have any sunbathing beauties in the camera files.
No, well, the thing was, it was laying upside down like this in the driveway, and it was raining this morning. The thing was so bad when I got it, so I'm sure it's probably ruined because it's got it's got all kinds of ventilation holes here, motors and shit. And I mean, the thing was soaking wet when I picked it up.
Yeah.
So
my brother dumped his in the lake, and it dried out and did fine.
Oh,
but
really?
It was. Yeah, this is about as cool as my drone experience is right here.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of those little things.
Yeah, this one actually is pretty neat because it has 6-axis gyro or something.
Mhm.
So it'll bounce off the wall and still stay working, straight. It doesn't fall out of the sky. But it's an in-the-house thing. It's not for screwing around at the Super Bowl.
Did y'all watch Super Bowl last night?
I heard there was some kind of football game on, but boy, it was pretty damn boring, man. The high school football around here is more exciting than that Super Bowl.
Yeah, no kidding. I gave up on it after about halftime and just sat in front of YouTube and watched science lectures from my favorite people to watch. So I looked at it and I checked, and it was about the 2-minute warning, and it was still 3-3. And the next time I looked, it was 10-3, and I'm like, gosh, he did it again.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring game, pretty lackluster. Sure. So hey,
I heard on the news.
Go ahead.
I heard on the news what the score was, and that they ejected this Barstool Sports guy out of it.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Yeah.
Partner?
I don't know.
Who was it again? Say it again. Mike.
Hold on, I'll tell you in a minute.
All right.
Some Barstool Sports founder or something.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I was disappointed when the Rams beat the Saints, though, because I was pulling for the Saints.
Where'd you get that lamp?
My mom actually made it.
Yeah?
Really? What's it made out of?
I think it's like one of those legs you at the stores for advertising, clothes.
Like a mannequin leg?
Yeah.
That was Dave Portnoy that got kicked out of there. He's the owner of Barstool Sports, and he's been very critical of Roger Goodell for the last 10 years or so. I mean, he really hates Roger Goodell, and he was banned from the press conference the other day and got booted out of there. And then he managed to get a ticket. He paid $5,000 for a ticket to the Super Bowl, and they booted him out at halftime. Security came, roughed him up, and took him out of there.
Yeah.
He's critical of Roger Goodell and the way he runs at the NFL. That's the deal.
Yeah. I don't even know what Barstool Sports is. I have no idea.
It's a betting website.
Oh,
Betting.
betting?
Yeah.
Gerald, you're a new one to me.
I've been on a few times, but
Yeah.
I can't really come on because we're in summer right now, and I should really be outside moving firewood with the tractor rather than sitting here in the afternoon on Hangouts. But I try to come on when my wife's not around and I've got nothing else that's really important. I try and get on. But I know we've got Mark.
You're not around here then, are you?
He's on the other planet.
He kind of dropped out when summer came in his part of the world, but Gerald's an old regular on the show.
Cool.
We got a new name in YouTube right now. Mark Williams says, "Hi guys, always enjoy your shows from the UK." All right.
All right.
So it's like 2, 3. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning where Mark is.
Are you New Zealand, Gerald, or Australia?
I'm from New Zealand, next to Australia. We're on the bottom of the globe, but the delay's not too bad. The communication side sometimes gets a bit rough because obviously a long way away.
Yeah, well, you're coming in pretty good. My son was able to go to New Zealand and Australia on a people-to-people venture when he was 12 or 13.
Oh, it sounds like it'd be quite an experience for him.
He loved it and came back with lots of interesting stories. He stayed with families when they were there. They didn't stay in hotels and things. And he said one of the oddest things was there wasn't really any ketchup.
Well, I suppose what we call tomato sauce, you'd call ketchup, but I think it would vary a lot depending on what area of Australia or New Zealand you visited, because the culture varies a lot between the different regions. Whereabouts in New Zealand did he visit?
I think he was in Auckland because like New Zealand and Australia are, there's water in between them. So they bounce between those two coasts. If my memory serves me correct, that's where they were, Auckland and Melbourne. Would that be right?
Melbourne's Australia, Auckland's New Zealand, right?
We're in both places.
Yeah, because Auckland and Melbourne are sort of adjoining each other, so people bounce between Auckland and Sydney or Melbourne along that coast. So,
yeah. And he said the cows were.
What's the capital city of New Zealand?
the capital's Wellington. It's sort of in the middle, but it's not the biggest city. Wellington's just central, really.
Oh, look, the guy from, well, if you're looking at the YouTube text, the guy that sent me the hypervisor, Greg Rodney, just joined up. And he says, I just came up from the shop. I'm getting tired of building hypervipers. Only got 7 more to go this week. Well, hey, Greg, welcome. I was telling him earlier in the show that I got mine today, and planning to do a show and tell on it later in the evening when we kind of settle down into our late night conversation.
Mine's on order.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful piece of work. I think there's several options that you can order it. And mine's kind of like an ARF. It's got a fully built wing. And here comes Sparky. Let me let the man in.
I'll have to call you back and see what Elena wanted to do.
Hey, Sparky.
I'll call back. I'm on another phone call right now.
I just came in to make a quick announcement. Google has sent me a letter that they're going to be discontinuing Google Hangout and the Google Plus page. Well, we got some echo going here. And so I'm going to download everything to save to a terabyte drive. I don't know how much longer we're going to have on here, but when this Google finally ends the Hangouts, we're going to go to our other alternate site.
Okay. We gotta find some way to record that and have outside people on text too. That's so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get that OBS software working. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, we can use OBS software with Skype.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
chatting.
we'll have to figure that out quick when the time comes.
Is it windy there, Gerald?
Sorry?
Is it
sorry,
windy?
Doug? It's normally windy in summer. It's normally calm in the morning, but always windy during the day when you want to fly. But occasionally we get a calm day. Today's not too bad.
Doug, do you have a window open? There's a lot of echo and chatter.
Not me.
It didn't
That didn't start until you entered the room.
No, it didn't start till you entered, Sparky.
Let me look here.
Hey, Doug, I got the plans today for the baby Bible.
Oh, good.
Thanks. Thanks for throwing the other ones in. They look like interesting models. I may have to do one of those other ones too.
Yeah, just size them to whatever you think's appropriate.
Yeah. Well, the baby Bi-winger's going to be for sure in the. It'll be flying this summer.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'll put it in the build order in here, but I'll get it done before Muncie for sure.
Good. I made several copies of that because that was right on two pieces of the magazine.
On the crease.
Yeah, it wasn't one sheet, so you'll have to piece it together correctly.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's all good. Looks good. Looks easy, straightforward build. I'm thinking a couple of nights, you know, one night to cut everything and one night to glue everything together.
Yep, it was really fast, and I doped mine and put tissue on it.
Oh, you did? Just like regular Jap tissue?
Actually, it's not. It's from a store, and I found that it doesn't change, or it didn't change color till I put retarder in the dope.
Oh, like gift wrapping tissue paper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
See if I,
Cut tissue to make the markings on it.
yeah, I don't know if you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a good view.
Yeah. But it didn't. It was a really nice purple color, and then I put retarder in the dope, and it made it fade like it was in the sun, and it isn't. I don't know if you can see some of the other ones back here that are still bright purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Oh,
that one.
yeah. I saw the big thing.
So the retarder did it.
The retarder did it to that. I bet it probably wouldn't do it to Jap tissue because it's probably more stable.
Yeah. Okay.
So, have fun. It's a blast. And don't believe the windscreen is what is printed there. Make your own.
Okay. Did it not fit properly, or?
No, not
Hey,
for me.
Excuse me, let me say something to Sparky. About that background chatter, it might have something to do with the fact that me and you are on simultaneously through the same channel, because it sounds like some kind of crosstalk, but it's not the same as when a YouTube tab is open and we're getting direct feedback and echo. It's just chatter. So I don't know. Never been able to explain what it is. It's not too bad right now, though.
No, it was squealing right at first when he came on, but I don't hear it now.
It didn't change when he muted his mic either. It still does it a little bit.
I don't know.
Sorry, I missed, Sparky, you said that the Hangouts will come to an end at some point. YouTube's going to cut the Hangouts. Do you have an idea how long we've got before they pull the plug on the Hangouts?
Anytime this month.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Okay, I'll start playing with OBS and see if I can figure out how to make it work. Last winter, I didn't have much luck with it, but I'll start over again.
The way that the Google Plus page explained it, I think they're going to take all the Hangouts down off the YouTube channel. That's why I'm downloading them,
Yeah.
and I'll make the best of, the Hangouts or whatever out of all of them.
I've got all the ones that I've hosted in a playlist on my own channel too. So I don't have any way to download them. I guess I got a drive they might fit on. That's a lot of video.
Here's how you download any YouTube video. Listen close. https://www.youtube.com and the video.
Okay.
And it'll send you to a download link, and you can download any video on YouTube.
All right.
They also,
I talked to Sam. He said he'd be happy for you to shoot some video of him for your movie this summer.
all right.
He wants Screen Actors Guild pay rates though, man.
Yeah.
He needs 2 slices of pizza for lunch and a candy bar. That's his going rate.
You can, Rusty, you can also use the Yummy download app.
Okay.
UMMY.
Yeah, I have had it in the past. I thought I got a piece of malware from it, so I deleted it, but I'll take another look at it.
Yeah, you didn't get no malware from that. I'm just looking at every which way to protect our, our investment.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of videos. I mean, I got, 150 of them that me alone has hosted, plus God knows how many of them you've got. So, yeah, I'd like to keep all that if possible.
They're going to be emailing me a download link to download them in a zip format. I'll download them on a terabyte drive, unload them, unzip them on my terabyte drive, edit them, and then put them all together. And
yeah,
the best of. I don't know if they're going to take them down or not. I mean, it's just the way that read. They want to
better safe than sorry. I can't believe they would actually download our playlist, our private playlist, but well, we'll protect against it anyway.
All right, guys, I got to eat and go to sleep.
Okay, man. Thanks for dropping in and giving us the bad news.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Hey, Sparky, I did get that header from Jim Oliver, so I've got a complete package for 75 now. I'm all set.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for the offer. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
I'm on step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
Chris, did you get your SV11 in the air yet?
Yeah, I flew it a couple times last year.
How do you like
it? What's that?
I like it.
It flies pretty good. I like it. I got a Magnum 52 on it.
Okay.
4-stroke?
It's a 2-stroke. Blue head.
I've got a Magnum 52 4-stroke on an 84-inch Quaker RC job.
A Quaker. Oh, I love the Quaker, man. That's a great airplane.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool with that engine on it.
Yeah.
Chug, 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 chug,
Guys
chug,
at the
chug.
club had the Quakers, and we had a few had the Del Air Sportster. That's another nice big old-time RC plane. A lot of fun if you put a powerful motor on. You can just ring them out, man. I like the low and fast, with lots of power.
That well made on those old timers, and you start doing aerobatics with them, and you tend to fold the wings. Yeah, no problem like that.
Hey, Mike.
You kind of broke up there, Gerald. Didn't catch that.
Sorry, I was just saying some of those old timers, they've got a wing that's not really designed for aerobatics. So if you get too carried away with the horsepower, adding more and more, they're liable to fold the wing if you get too enthusiastic pulling tight loops with it or anything like that, because they're not really designed to aerobatics. They're designed to loft around. But,
yeah. And they don't look right inverted.
Well, I never loops and stuff and high-speed passes. You could snap roll them a little bit with rudder and elevator, but they don't have ailerons on them, so they don't turn really well.
No. They're a lot of fun. They look nice in the air, though. I just have to say, I've had a number of old timers like that, and they're a lot of fun just to watch them.
A lot of wood in those things, and a lot of Monaco. They're huge,
Yeah, something old timers you can't put monocoat on. You gotta do dope.
Oh, there is one way. I used combat mylar and then covered it with tissue, and that gave me a durable finish that I could paint. But it had that look of tissue, but it was a lot stronger than tissue with the combat mylar underneath.
Now, is that SLC system that people are talking about? Larry Cruz was talking about SLC stuff?
Similar, but the SLTC I think is self-adhesive, whereas when you're using combat mylar, like on a combat wing, it's just got contact adhesive. It's just attached with contact adhesive, and then you iron it or heat shrink it with a heat shrink iron. But yeah, the combat mylar is very light, and if you don't tissue over it, it just gives it a nice look. It just looks a lot better. You don't have that clear translucent finish.
Doug,
And
the SLC is super light covering. Phil Cartier was the guy who introduced it for combat models, basically. But guys are using it on stunt models too now. It has a heat activated adhesive on the back of it. It's not sticky until you put heat to it. And it will stretch and it will shrink a little bit, but not as well as Fast Cal. Fast Cal is just like tape. It has adhesive on the back, so when you put it down, it sticks. And then the heat shrinks too.
Whatever was written about it, I just couldn't understand because, well, for one, I don't know what the mylar component is, and then whether, like Gerald said, the tissue goes on the outside of the covering or the inside of the covering. It just didn't make sense to me. I don't know why.
You don't have to do anything. But what guys were doing, they were putting SLC on over polyspan so that you wouldn't have to dope it. And then the SLC can be painted. If you scuff it lightly, it can be painted. But you're putting...
You can paint polyspan. You can paint polyspan. You don't have to put anything on top of polyspan.
Well, the idea was that, polyspan, you still got to fill the weave with dope. And if you put the SLC on it, it doesn't take as much to put a layer of paint on the Mylar as it would to put, 5 or 6 coats of dope on polyspan. I mean, I've never done it myself. I've read what they're doing with it. I got 100 foot of the SLC here, and I used it to cover a few combat models, but I don't like it as much as I like Fast Cal. I like the Fast Cal with the adhesive that's already sticky on, And
so are you guys saying the polyspan or something goes on first, and then you put the Mylar stuff on it?
Yeah, SLC over polyspan. There's a whole thread on Stunthangar about it. You can read all about it.
Yeah, and I for some reason I couldn't understand it, and I thought Larry Cruz was talking about it. So, another subject for another day.
Mm-hmm. Chris, you work
I
on
have
earlier.
Yeah,
I have one of those Hyper Vipers.
Since since Greg Rodney built this thing and he's on YouTube with us right now, I figured I'd show you. First, for anybody if there's anybody here that had never seen a Hyper Viper, here's a picture of the Cox model that I'm going to show. There we go, and boom. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, that's the plastic Cox Hyper Viper. All right, and it's half A. Anyway, what he's done, let me close this up. What he's done is he's cut a kit out, and mine came with a pre-assembled wing, and he did a really nice job on it. And unlike the plastic model, the lead outs thread through the wing tips. In fact, I'm gonna click share to all to make sure this all goes to the YouTube. Let me present to everyone. Okay. And so the bell crank's already mounted in it right here. And there, I mean, it's beautiful craftsmanship. He's done a great job building this wing. It's 27-inch wingspan, and it's straight as an arrow. And the fuselage is cut. The two main pieces of the fuselage is cut kind of like a hollow log. And I need to stop okay, I'm presenting. And so up here is where the engine mounts, and the engine mounting beams, the maple beams, they fit in each side just like that.
Yeah.
And then there's more to make a platform for the fuel tank, but I'm going to be putting a bladder in it now. But you can see all of the machine marks, so all of that'll be sanded off. You know, it makes little stripes as the CNC machine makes it cuts. And the two halves of the fuselage fit together. It's got a couple of tabs to align it. Let's see. And so they go together like this. And then the cowl with the cylinder cut out and the needle valve cut out. Okay, go like this. And the turtle deck is a completely different piece of wood mounted on up here that he's glued together. So we got that. And then, oh yeah, the landing gear fits into the bottom of the fuselage. It's got, I don't know if that's 1/16. It might be one size bigger. Let's see, 1/16 would be 0.0625. This is not 3/32, so it's probably 16 under the fuselage into a slot under there. I'm not going to push it all the way through because it needs cleaning up, sanding around the edges. But it's a pretty sturdy design, and the balsa looks nice, but it also looks tough enough to handle the job of an impact. And he's got the stab and the elevator hinged up. I don't know what material this is. If it's fiberglass, I don't think it is. It's some kind of a weave, but he's did a remarkably beautiful job of hinging it up.
Looks like Tom Morris Dacron. Looks like Dacron.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's ultralight airplane covering is what it is. That's
really
that stuff.
And then the only other, it's got a hardware kit for finishing the lead outs, and then of course just a vertical stab. And so that's the whole kit. It ought to go together really quickly. And Greg, Greg, I can't tell you how much I appreciate this, and all of you guys on Cox Engine Forums that chipped in on it. It was a huge surprise to me, and this thing ought to go together really quickly, and I'll start a build thread on it as soon as I get it going.
What engine are you slated to put in that one?
I've got a Big MiG, Norvell Big MiG 061, and that'll be the one that powers it, and that ought to be plenty ample. Now I've got a baby flight streak with a Big MiG on it, and it flat hauls ass. I fly it on 45-foot lines, and it for a regular sport profile plane, it cooks. And I think this one, if I sand it down and build it right, I think it'll be probably not much heavier, if any, than that baby flight streak. But yeah, it's nice. It's a really beautiful kit.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Good.
Why can't you run the stock needle on a Big MiG with a bladder?
Too coarse, and the threads are too coarse, and the needle's too fat. It's not a skinny enough taper on it. They'll leak. Number one, they'll leak through the coarse threads because you're running pressure. So
Right.
they'll leak out the threads, and then the needle's so fat that they're so touchy on a bladder. You want to have a really fine, long taper.
I need to give you the link to my tutorial on RC Groups. I'll PM it to you of how to retrofit a Big MiG with a fine thread Cox needle valve spray bar.
You have to change the whole spray bar unit.
You just pull the spray bar out of the Big MiG and sleeve the Cox one to the right size, and just screw it in. Just put it in and secure it. It's easy to do. I got every step you need to do it. It's on RC Groups, and I'll get that link and PM it to you.
Thanks, Rusty.
If you can get do you have a 128 thread Cox spray bar needle valve?
I might not. I don't know. I have to look.
It would be on one of the old red postage stamp Cox engines that came in like a Stuka or something from way back like that. If not, we can find you one. They're out there. If not, you can also always make a remote. We spent a couple of hours here recently talking about how to make remote needle valves. So that's not a problem. We can figure it out. But
Chris,
you do,
what
like
I
Mike
asked
says, you got to have the fine thread needle valve.
Greg posted some info on the chat. He stated that the hinges are 100% polyester, and he also states, I have a TD051 on mine, sub 4 second laps on 42-foot lines, and he said it's the 16th model he's made.
That's hauling ass.
Yeah, 4 seconds. I'd go longer.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Mike?
You wanted to ask me a question about 10 minutes ago, and we kept getting.
I was going to ask you about the Big Mig needle.
Oh. Okay.
And then I was going to tell you I got something from Jim Oliver today, too.
What'd you get?
His PA51 pipe and header.
Oh, okay, nice. Very cool. Is that side exhaust?
I was gonna pick up that 161 that was on Stunthangar, but after hearing you say it's hard to find a header, I passed on it.
Well, I mean, they're out there. You just gotta beat down doors and get people to come off them. Because
Right.
I bought a 75, had no pipe and no header, but Jim Oliver had a header for one. So now I'm all set. I can get a pipe from Rick. And then
What are you gonna put it in?
I'm not sure what the 75 is going in yet. I'm not sure on what airframe, because I got a 61 and a 65 in a couple of SV22s that I'll be flying this year.
Yeah.
So the 75 will be something I actually build, but I want to have all the parts for the engine. Just start hunting down. You'll find them. So did you bought the 51 side exhaust? Is that the one you bought?
No, I got the 75.
Oh, you
Rear.
bought one of the 75s. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got a header and a pipe for it and all that?
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Yeah, I saw that stuff come up first thing in the morning, and I looked at it and I was like, man, took me 6 or 8 months to get my hands on a couple of PAs, and now they're just falling out of the sky because Jim Oliver had a bunch on there, and another guy had 2 guys for sale not long ago.
Yeah, we won't see any for a long time now.
Yeah, probably. And I didn't buy any of the ones Jim Oliver had because I've got 3, so I think I'm pretty set there. How many do you need? How many can you fly at one time? So, plus if my wife knew what I spent on those 3 engines, she'd kick my ass.
Well, you don't want to have to swap engines onto every airplane you want to fly. You want to have an engine for every airplane, don't you?
Yeah, but we're talking about PA stunt ships. If I've got 3 engines, I don't think I'm ever going to have more than 3 airplanes. The way I see it, you need 1 and a backup, really. So I'd rather spend money on combat shit anyway, man.
Speaking of combat,
so.
I found an unusual motor on eBay. You see what that is?
Is that a heli?
It's the 35 Combat.
Oh, I see the Combat now. Okay.
Yeah, I thought they must be quite rare. I think they came out in '64.
Well, I know the 35s. A lot of guys use the OS 35s. What makes it special for Combat?
Go look at the hole in that one.
Yeah,
that's what makes it special right there. And what kind of needle? You got a Tiger needle in it, or?
It's still got the standard OS needle, so it wouldn't be suitable for pressure. The OS needle.
Okay, yeah, it's for suction. Okay.
They left some of the metal out of that Venturi. There's not enough metal in that Venturi, man.
Yeah, what's that thing measure, man? About 350 or something?
Oh, it would be big, yeah. Yeah, well, they only made them, I think, for a couple of years. They made them from 64, and by 66, I think they dropped them. So they didn't make them very long at all. It's massive. It's like 12 millimeter, which is, well, it'd be about
Half an inch
0.35.
almost.
That's what?
It's about 0.35. It's massive. It's like 12 millimeter.
It's 350,000. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they only made them for a short time, so I don't know if they were ever successful or how they competed with the other purpose-built combat motors of their day.
Oh man, I bet if you put a remote needle in that thing with a bladder, that thing would haul ass, man. You probably blow it up.
It's based on the 40H, and they made a rat race version of it. So the rat race 40 was a tough little motor as well. So I imagine it would have worked well, but I've only ever seen the one, and I thought I'm going to grab that if I can, and it wasn't too dear. It was under 50 US when I saw it on eBay.
Under 50 US. Interesting.
What are you going to put it on, do you think?
Well, I'd like to put it on a period combat model. I got the plans for the Super Sate and the Voodoo, so I'm thinking along lines of one of those. But,
Go with the Super Satan. It's bigger.
mm.
Voodoos don't fly well, man. The Super Satan is probably the best of all of them, just because of the wing area that's on it. You know,
Yeah.
the Voodoos and the Combat Cats. I mean, they're fun to fly and they're easy to build, but they don't turn for shit. You know, a Nemesis is a good one.
Don't say that. I got a double Voodoo kit box I'm trying to sell.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, with the plywood wood, right? Yeah. Well, like we talked about last week, you know, they were worth $100 all day long on eBay, and they probably still are. You'll get $100 for them, but now that Cronenberger's making all those nice cut AAA select balsa kits of all the combat models. Have you guys seen those?
No, there's some of Stan's work up there, and then he's got a thing on Facebook or somewhere about
Gerald,
putting together.
there's a guy in on the I don't know if he's on Stunthangar or not, but I know he's on the Facebook Control Line Flying page, and he's on the MACA page. He's on the Combat page as well. He's doing repros of Combat Cats, Flight Streaks, Nemesis, Voodoos, and this is all laser cut stuff with premium balsa, and they're just beautiful, beautiful kits. And you know, he's getting like $70 for a Voodoo kit.
Mike, Minnesota Mike says put that on a Voodoo. I mean, not he says put it on a Genesis.
Well, on Nemesis, I think.
Nemesis, yeah, not Genesis.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
I'll show you one.
You know, with people reproducing kits and selling them, is there any real liability for licensing or copyright or anything that they should really be sensitive to?
Well, I think Stan got permission from Howard Rush for the Nemesis, and I'm pretty sure he talked to Riley before he did the Voodoos, Riley Wooten. As far as the Combat Cats, that was a top flight deal, but I don't think there's any, because there's lots of guys cutting kits that aren't their own designs, you know, and making models that other people own the plans to and the copyrights. I mean, what are they going to go after you for? I mean, you're selling model airplane kits. What are they going to sue you for?
I know, but you know, it's like the Chinese stealing intellectual property thing. You know, that's got to be kind of a big deal.
We're not talking big dollars here, though. We're not talking mass manufacture of millions of them out of China. I think when it's a cottage industry, most people are happy just to see them being made again. Because, you know, a lot of the planes are available free or out of zone, and people circulate the planes around everywhere.
My mom was in craft industry, kind of, and she did sewing projects, and she was going to have to be licensed to pay a licensing fee to the NFL to do Cowboy stuff and Chiefs things and Kansas State, you know.
Yeah, that's about trademarks. I guess it's the same thing, maybe. Minnesota Mike says all you have to do is change it by about 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is from an original M&P Nemesis kit, 70s. This is Howard Rush's combat. It's got a Mark IV on it. It's been redone by Jim Welch, and this will do about 105. But just in comparison, here's a long boom Voodoo, and here's the Nemesis. The wings
What is the other way around?
longer on the Nemesis, so they fly a little bit better. I think the Voodoo are just too short and stubby. You know, this thing will turn on a dime. The Nemesis flies great. You know,
There were several different versions of the boom length on the Super Satan.
yeah.
It looks really nice. Very striking graphics.
Silk and dope, buddy. Old school.
Very
Silk
nice.
and dope. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. I actually got Howard Rush to sign it at the Nats a couple years ago.
Oh, that's really very special model now. Can't
Yeah.
really get it, can you?
If it was me signing a combat ship, I'd poke a hole through it with a pin. No, not really. I gotta pay attention to my pup down here for a second. It's a boy. It's a big boy. We'll go outside. We'll go outside.
That little Hyper Viper, Greg said his weighed 8 ounces with fuel, or I think he said 8.5 ounces with fuel.
That's pretty good.
I wonder what the original weighed. I might weigh my one.
Oh, he also, I didn't see this. He also said that if they want to file for some kind of violation of copyright violation, they have to file a cease and desist order before they can do anything legally. Must be intermission.
I guess, man. Anybody got anything to show? We got any other show and tell? I showed all my stuff Friday night. I don't have anything else.
Here comes the plastic Hyper Viper, I think.
Yeah, 10.5. 10.5 without
Oh,
fuel.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
2 ounces down.
I would have expected it to weigh more than that, but it's so much, the plastic's a lot thinner than the wood, and I could probably take some more wood off of this, but I'm probably not going to do any more than just smoothing out the marks left by the CNC machine.
Greg Rodney said the original weighed 10.4 ounces. So that's mine's missing the spinner, and fuel I suppose would be another ounce. Try it again.
I think my heaviest baby flight streak, the one with the TD-051 on it, weighs 9 ounces, and that's after some repairs. And it still flies like stink too.
10.5 is what I got, but I don't know how accurate that scale is, but a lot of problems with models is they put on weight as you fly them more too. That model of mine's done very little flying. The motor was tight on it, and I just got heaved off it, and I pulled the original motor that came on the Hyper Viper and put in an old engine that I knew was well run in, had a good fit, and swapped it over. But the original one was tight as a bomb. It just wouldn't run in very easily.
Yeah, Minnesota Mike asked, did the Hyper Viper have foam wings? Yeah, the original Cox Hyper Viper did have foam wings.
Yeah, solid foam. And it had the external controls that didn't look that good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the internal controls that Greg put on these new ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be the same colors, but I'm gonna probably put a very similar color scheme on it just to honor the original Hyper Viper. And besides, it's a good scheme. I don't care for the purple so much, but it's not actually purple either. I don't know what you call it. More like magenta, maybe. I'd have to look and see, but I'll go with whatever I got in the old monocoat box for the wing, and then I'll paint for the rest of it.
CG's quite far forward on the original. It's probably be at about 20% of the wing chord.
In fact, you know what? I think I'll do this in doctor paper instead of monocoat on the wings. I've never used it before.
It would probably convert well to electric for those that want to put a little 3-cell setup in it. I'm sure it would work well as an electric model too. But I've got a TD-051 that would be tempting to use as well, but if I got one, I'd be tempted on the electric as well.
It's got a pretty short tail moment, so the battery might give you a balance problem. I don't know. I don't know how much the battery weighs compared to the engine up on the end of the nose. It might be similar.
Yeah, the latest batteries, the what are they called? They're not too heavy. I'll weigh an engine, and if I can find a Cox, I'll weigh a battery and battery pack motor.
Chris, what's the latest plane you've built?
Profile Mustang from Tom Morris. And a Frencherized Twister I'm messing with too.
How do you like the Twister?
I haven't flown it. I'm still in the middle of. I gotta paint it now. I'm gonna stick Rodak 40 on it.
You've seen my Twister, hadn't you?
Yeah,
I probably had it in Huntersville that time you came. I can't remember now what I was flying that time.
Yeah, it was that Twister. You actually pancaked it, I saw.
Oh, yeah, I bottomed it out. It just bounced off the wheels and kept on flying.
Yeah.
But prop broke. It didn't hurt anything, luckily. I still went on to fly it in an official. Let's see, Greg asks, does anyone know how I can get in touch with Lou Wilgast? I would like to get permission to do the Cafe Mirage next. Anybody got anything for him on that?
Not I.
Nothing but crickets, Greg.
What's he want to do?
He wants to reproduce the Lou Wilgast Mirage Cafe.
What
I'd have to look that
category?
up.
What category airplane is that?
It's a Cafe.
Not bad. Stunt or what?
Sorry, say it again.
Is it a combat airplane?
No, I think it's a stunter. Is that right, Greg? It's a stunt ship. Yeah, it's a stunt ship.
Huh, cool. Well, I'm sure looking forward to.
That's one of them Jeff Dawson planes.
Yeah, we were talking about weights. I wanted to see what this thing actually weighs with a motor.
Now that looks like it has some kind of covering on it, Mike. It's shiny.
It's fast, Cal.
And you say, is that the one that has like a tape adhesive or a heat activated one?
Tape adhesive. It's just like
And you like
tape. It's like packing tape, but thinner.
you like it better?
I love fast, Cal, man. When I do a foam wing, I take two spars, two 4-foot spars, and I cut my panel for the foam wing, and I put the spars on each side on the edge. So I got something to hold on to, and I keep it spread apart with the spars, and I take it over to the wing, and I just lay it on there, and then go trim the front, trim the back. It's done. And then once I got the whole model covered, I'll hit the heat gun real quick just to shrink everything up. I can cover 4 sides of the foam wing in about 12 minutes. Takes me about 3 minutes.
On a roll or something then?
Yeah, I thought I showed that last week.
Well, I'm really out of.
This is a roll of fast.
Yeah, that's pretty wide. Yeah.
So just
Oh, it's got a back
paper.
also.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you on a corner here. Well, just
No, don't do any. That's not that important.
I got plenty.
I understand the procedure from here then. It's fine.
But you just peel it off.
Yep.
Stick it down. Good stuff. Good
Cool.
stuff. Unobtainium now.
Oh, no kidding. Well, that's too bad.
Left in the way. It's all good until you can't do it.
I bought a 150-foot roll from Marvin Denny before he passed away. And I mean, it was $1 a square foot. I paid $150 for the roll. And then I got about another 100-foot roll from a local combat guy, Mac Henry, that he's too old. He can't fly anymore. So, I mean,
Mark, a local guy to us.
to cover models for the rest of the world, you know. So, but yeah, Jeff Dawson's design. It's called the Sonic Chicken, half-A combat plane. When we were at Huntersville last fall, he gave one to Samuel for this was Sam's first half-A combat plane, the real deal. And I'm gonna weigh it. The motor was 2.4 ounces was the motor, and all up, it is 7.2 ounces. The whole airplane weighs 7.2.
Is all up supposed to be measured with an empty tank?
Well, I say all up. I mean, yeah, it's the bladder's not in there, but
Yeah.
7-ounce airplane on a Russian high performance motor is pretty good. Actually, we usually weigh these in grams. Is how we like to weigh our half-A stuff. Yeah, and this one's up there. It's a little pork at 213 grams. That's actually a little porky. The Russian designs come in right around 200 grams, and then the stuff I build, it's called the Nat. my friend's design called the Nat, is 185 grams with the engine. So all about weight in half A for sure.
Well, I've got it's not the right half A motor, but just saying half A motor versus electric motor, battery, and speed controller. I think there's about another ounce in the electric version of a Hyper Viper. You'd have to lose some weight somewhere, probably in the engine mounts or in the fuel finishing.
Was that a Gilbert you were showing?
Oh yeah, it is a Gilbert 07, but I've got a box of Cox's, an 051, but just as an approximation, I'd say there'd be an ounce more going for electric versus glow. Yeah, I like the little Gilbert. Yeah, the Gilbert 07. I don't know. You wouldn't put one of those on a Hyper Viper.
I had a few of them Gilberts left over from my dad with the rear intake Venturi on there, that big long stovepipe on there or whatever. I don't even know what he threw them on. I think those were motors he threw when he was a kid, you know. I ended up selling them all at a swap meet.
They run well, but they always want to run backwards on you unless the electric start them. And we've got one on a little trainer, a Gilbert 11, that's done huge hours of running, training kids how to fly. And it's similar power to a Medallion 09, very similar. We've got one model with the Medallion, one with the Gilbert, and they're pretty much neck and neck performance-wise, which was surprising. But you know, the Medallion's got a muffler on it though, so that probably equalises it. Yeah, the Gilbert. Sorry.
I had something new show up that a guy loaned me. Have you ever seen a magnetic building board?
Yeah, I've seen some homemade ones. I've never seen one like that looks like it was made commercially.
Yeah, this is a. See if I can get it. Yeah, can't tell where this thing's pointing at. There it is.
Oh, Great Plains.
Yeah. And it has a bunch of little things on it. And this is my fuselage sides for the, what is this? The airplane, the Olympic Mark 6.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And they had a huge bow all the way down this edge, and so I wetted them down and slid these are magnets on a plastic frame thingy, and put them on there. And it's been on there for 2 or 3 days now, and I haven't removed them to see if it straightened them out enough. But that was my new toy to play with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having a magnetic jig board like that. I usually make my jig out of scrap whenever I'm building a model, and you know, like take a 2-inch by 2-inch balsa piece of lumber and cut it into squares and use all those squares to jig fuselages up. I've got a fuselage jig too, but it doesn't hold it quite as tight.
Yeah. Oh, and this is like a, I don't know, 16, maybe 14 gauge steel plate that it's on. So, and the magnets are black, or you know, they're like hard something. They're not those new fancy ones.
Magnetite or something. They're not rare earth. That'd be too much. Minnesota might ask Mike Lansky if there is a shutoff on the Sonic Chicken. I'm guessing no.
No, no
Small size.
cafe. Although I'm going to be putting them on. I'll show you one here in a minute. Let Doug finish up the board.
Yeah, that was it. But I'm eager to start actually putting the fuselage together using this to see how well it holds it straight and keeps it from becoming
see if it really stays where you put it reliably.
Yeah. But that's it. Its first job was to see if it would straighten the bowed. And they were bowed a weird way. They weren't,
I've had them twisted and bowed at the same time. That's a tough one when you get it like that.
I'm sure they were cut straight, but then just over time they ended up.
More times than not, I'll take my profile fuselages and just chuck the one that came in the kit box and cut out 1/4 inch and laminate them together and with epoxy, and that pretty much helps guarantee a straight fuselage.
Well, these I didn't want to, just sand it to straight, because then it would resize the height of the fuselage and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to see if it works. But cool. Oh, yeah. I also got a Dumas smoothie kit today. Woohoo!
A Dumas, what kind of kit?
Smoothie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a good all-time stunt plane.
Yeah, I actually really scored today. Sorry for moving the camera around too much. Mike Tallman and Lou Woolard had a thing in February 1976 model airplane news that was a thing called Two for the Show, and where they flew two stunt models simultaneously. And so I was given one of those airplanes today, and I'm keeping it. And a buddy of mine and I, we're going to build new ones and try it again. So this is it. This is the smoothie kit from Dumas. And it was Vico, wasn't it, that kitted Bob Palmer's stuff originally?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how this, but check this out, guys. Woohoo!
Here he is.
Yeah.
Enterprise models. Oh, yeah. Lego kits.
Yeah, buddy.
An airplane.
Yep, that's an I-beam. That's an I-beam airplane for sure. Oh, Rusty, do you have one of these boxes?
I do.
Oh, so you don't need another one?
No. I got one just like it.
Okay. All right. Just checking. Sometimes you gotta thin things out.
All right, guys,
John
I'm going to get off.
Skupelet was in here with us, I guess. He just came up and said good night, but I guess he was watching us earlier.
Who's that?
John Skupelet. He was trying to get in the other night and managed to make it in briefly, but ended up defaulting to YouTube and stayed in the chat for a while. Hey, doggy.
Yeah.
Modeling buddy, eh?
Better this week. He's been pretty good.
Who was asking about shutoffs, Rusty?
Who was asking what?
Who was asking about shutoffs?
Oh, that was Minnesota Mike.
Okay. So currently, all of my half-A stuff does not have shutoffs, but I'm putting them on this year because I had 2 flyaways in half-A last year. Luckily, both airplanes hit the ground. They didn't go anywhere, so that was lucky. But these are H&R. Get a good H&R shutoffs built for half-A. This is a bell crank line tension shutoff. These are built by Tony Huber and Jeff Rain. That's the H&R. They're a bunch of Pacific Northwest guys. It's got button bell cranks on it, so you use loops again and just slip the loop over, put a little piece of fuel tubing on it. But the way it works, I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is where the push rod would go, but it's not drilled out yet, so there's no hole there. There's 4 indents for you to mark your push rod location, so you can put it where you want. But basically what this does, it's armed right now for starting, okay? And where this little slit is right there, that's where your fuel line goes through. So your fuel line comes up under the bell crank and out through the top to your engine. And that's for starting. And there's a little spring that locks that in. Once you get tension on the airplane, let me see if I can make this work here. Okay, did you see that pop out?
Yeah.
Now that I know how to do it here for the camera. So when you launch the plane, it's locked open, okay? And once you launch the plane and you get line tension on it, that's what happens. The lock comes off and it opens all the way. If for any reason you lose line tension or your lines are cut, it does that.
Okay.
It pinches the fuel line shut.
Yeah.
So your fuel line goes in that space there. And again, that's how you arm it for launch. That little pin, I don't know, you can see that pin goes down there.
Yeah.
And once the bell crank moves, the pin unlocks and you're opened up.
Yep. It just jumps vertically out of the slot.
These on I've got bigger ones. I've got 3-inch versions that are on all my fast combat stuff on the Nelsons. They're mandatory on the Nelsons. So and I've had good luck with them. They do work, and they're not super cheap. They're like $35 a piece.
What's it made of? Aluminum?
Yeah, it's an aluminum bell crank, and then the buttons and then the center bushing is brass. And this one's set up for half-A, so it's got a real light spring in it, light spring tension. Nelson bell crank, I've got one. I'll grab it.
So what if the wind grabs it and flips it loose for a second? It shuts off every time that happens?
It might.
Is the type of fuel tubing critical?
Yes. You have to use this really soft stuff from McMaster Car.
I think Hank at Texas Timers still sells that too.
Yeah, I've had some of that really soft stuff because the timers on my free flight planes are a tick-off timer, and they have to pinch the fuel line. So I understand that. And
the stuff they recommend, it's actually almost like the stuff that came on the Norville Big Migs, that white tubing that's very, very soft. That came on Norvilles for the one with the tanks. Very similar to that. So this is a fast combat one. And it's, same thing. It's probably better to demonstrate. But once you get tension on it, see what I'm doing here. It opens up and stays open. You lose line tension, pinches it shut.
ooh, that one's red.
Yeah, this one's red. So I got a couple of these half-A ones because I'm going to use them this year. Like I said, I've had some flyaways, and I'm not real comfortable with that. So I'm putting shutoffs on my half-A. They're mandatory on the fast. and I may go ahead and just outfit my speed limit ones as well, because he makes another 3-inch like this, but with a lighter torsion spring in it for speed limit models for 75-mile-an-hour stuff. So I'll probably end up going to shutoffs on everything just because, even though they're not required on half A and speed limit.
Saw one
Highways.
half A combat flyaway at our contest one year, and it was a line cut or something, and somehow both lines, well, of course, so both lines got cut, but it flew away with, I don't know, 30 feet of line, and
He
so
got cut at the handle. Yeah.
yeah, and it went screaming and went really, really high and really far away and landed, well, across the turnpike. If you see our site from Google Earth, you'll see where the highway is and stuff. Anyway, it flew over that onto, landed right beside a park bench that a guy was sitting on.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, it hit 3 feet away from a guy. And the guys found it, of course, and then got the story and yada, yada, yada. But that was only flyaway I'd seen, you know. But that's a good idea. It'll kill the engine and not let it get away and do
What
damage.
I'm most concerned about is losing a $200 half A motor.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if I was still running Cox's, TDs and stuff like that, or even Norvos, I probably wouldn't care. But these Profis and Foras they're $200 a piece.
Yeah, there was a guy here who was building up Killer Bees, Cox engines, you know, buying all these fancy, expensive parts to get a good mouse engine. And he had over $200 in a little, you know, Killer Bee engine for a mouse. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's enthusiasm, I tell you.
The main motivator for me doing it is, like I said, I've had 2 flyaways, but then my buddy Larry out in Phoenix, he was test flying somebody else's airplane with a Profi on it, you know, $200 half A motor. And when he turned the airplane, it wasn't trimmed properly, and it came in at him. And when he went across his head and got in a circle, the lines broke, and the airplane, they had to fly away, and they lost the airplane. They never recovered the plane. So, I mean, the guy, forget about the airplane. It was $200 worth of motor that was gone.
Yeah.
Gone. You know, you'll never see that again. So,
Yeah.
that's what worries me more than anything else.
This is
All right,
kind
guys, I
of
think I'm going to take off now. We'll talk to you later.
See you, Chris.
All right,
Yeah.
Chris, thanks for coming in.
All right, see ya.
Take care.
See you. This is the setup I've got on my little baby biwinger, and the fuel line is, you know how to do all that, don't you, Mike?
Yeah, I do, but I won't have to because I've got backplate mounts for the engine.
Yeah.
I'll be able to just run a tube up and
Yeah.
use an eyedropper or something like that.
Yeah, this is a peewee, so it, you know, didn't have that. Just thought I'd throw that in. What are you eating tonight, Rusty?
Mike and Ike's. I actually put them in a bowl so I wouldn't have to shake the box and make my face big every time I ate one. So that's my favorite snack. I guess it's more like a nervous habit, you know. I can either smoke cigarettes or eat Mike and Ike's.
Speaking of food, I better go and do dinner for tonight. It's probably time for me to say good night as well.
Okay, Gerald. It was good to see you back in with us. So tell all the boys and Alina we said hi.
We'll do. Well, thanks for hosting us all, Rusty, and showing us your Hyper Viper and coming along. And hope to catch you all next time. Well, good night.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Good night.
See you, Gerald.
See ya.
Or good afternoon in Gerald's case. Yeah, it's middle of the afternoon over there. Tomorrow. afternoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it too, guys. I got a big day tomorrow. I got lots of shit.
Yeah, I got to get up. I got an appointment in the morning I got to be at. And so I guess this is, that leaves me and Doug.
Yeah,
This is another. I stumbled across this in my stuff for the thing. It's a needle nose,
Yeah, Vico.
and then and this one too.
Nice.
They're both 1 3/4 inches. That's what the stunt ship wants. So I don't know. Just it's an option. Feeling out.
I'm out.
All right. Good night.
All right, see ya. Well, got pretty short, didn't it?
Yeah, sure enough. And it looks like Jack Snavely's signing off over on YouTube, and a couple of others. Greg Rodney said good night a few minutes ago. John Stuart said good night. So
Yeah.
I guess why don't we call it a show? And
Sure.
it was a pretty good Monday night though. So we'll get back together Friday and talk about whatever we did all week.
There you go.
Try to do something fun so we got something to talk about.
Yeah, hopefully the weather breaks around here. We get a chance to fly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, dude. Take it easy. And all you guys over on YouTube, thanks for your visit and for your contributions. And we'll see y'all Friday too. All right. Good night. Signing off in 3, 2,